Hi, I'm Jerry Wise. I'm a relationship expert and coach. I'm also the director of the Center for Self-Differentiation. And this video is entitled 5 Secrets to ACOA or ACA Recovery. I've got a lot of clients who ask for my family systems coaching and guidance for ways they can begin to confront and begin to enhance and begin to further their recovery as adult children of alcoholics. And they keep asking me to make more videos on this subject, so I'm trying to help them with their recovery and with their personal internal work. Well, of course, the first secret that is a secret to some but not to others is to stop denying. There are millions upon millions of adult children of alcoholics in this country and in the world, and I hear from them even all over the world. And many of them have had many years in which they've had a hard time accepting that their alcoholic parent or caregiver affected them growing up, and that it even could be affecting them now as adults, or their marriage, or their job. I even have some ACOAs that I work with, and they understand how it would affect their marriage, and they understand how it might affect their family life, but maybe not their work. The thing is, we are who we are wherever we go. Work, relationships, church, organizations, wherever we go, we take ourselves. And here's what I often hear from those who are in denial about ACOA. And again, it's a chronic, difficult problem. And in fact, there are even many therapists who are in denial about this particular problem. I've also found that there are ACOA therapists who deny it for themselves and then deny it to their clients. And people will say or think, well, it didn't affect me. My alcoholic family didn't affect me. And my alcoholic home is no different than anyone else's dysfunctional home. They're all equivalent. Well, I believe dysfunction is dysfunction, wherever you find it. However, we know more particularly about the alcoholic or addicted home. We don't always have all the traits and symptoms of someone, say, growing up in a abusive home, though we are learning more and more about that. But there's been a lot of research done on adult children of alcoholic issues. Some will say, well, why look at the past? Let's just stay in the present and plan for the future. That's all that matters. And again, if you've had a difficult or rough childhood, or you've had alcoholic parents, it may not be very pleasant to take a look at the past. You'd like to get past it. But then what I find people doing is, here's their family of origin and growing up, and what people want to do is move away from it. Family systems theory, which I think is more helpful, is for the client to work through it and go beyond it, rather than just work away from it and trying to get away, because there are invisible rubber bands and ties in between this hand and this hand when you move this way. This is the way to break those ties, to move that way. Sorry about the crude analogy, but I do try to explain that to folks, and it ends up helping people more free themselves. They might say, well, I don't have any contact with my crazy family or alcoholic parent anymore, so it doesn't affect me. I'm glad I broke free from that and it doesn't affect me. The only problem is your alcoholic parent is still in you. They are never not. It depends on how you're going to manage your self-differentiation, and the relationship you have with the alcoholic parent. Saying they don't exist, it is not I found a really good or helpful technique. Some say, well, I don't drink, so my dad's alcoholism didn't affect me. Then a common one. Well, my therapist says ACOA or ACA, Adult Children of Alcoholics, is just a made-up problem. It really doesn't exist. Well, and then I challenge them and say, well, then what does exist for you? What is causing problems for you? Let's put ACOA aside then. Why are you still struggling, having difficulties, and commonly fit into the traits of an ACOA? You know, we don't have to call it ACOA. We can call it banana or whatever you want to call it. It's just easier to identify it as adult children of alcoholics type of traits, symptoms, and syndrome. And I never hear a real good answer from anyone. So I say, well, what did your previous therapist say to you about those issues? Well, we just kind of worked on superficial things and da-da-da. And that's what I assume probably happened. Or my pastor told me he didn't think I was affected by my alcoholic parents and grandparents, because they both later joined the church, and so now everything's okay. However, the grandchild's still having a bunch of problems. And in this, getting out of denial requires reading more books, getting online. You can check it out for yourself. It's not something magically that somebody made up or someone made up just to make some money. I think they did research and have done research like Janet Woitiz, Woitiz, and who has done research on this to try to help people with their recovery. You can attend some ACA meetings. Not everyone will have all of the ACOA traits. That's another common denial. Well, I don't have all 14, or I don't have all 22, so I must not be an adult child of an alcoholic, or it may not affect me. Well, not everyone will have the same ACOA traits. All alcoholic homes are different. So not every childhood will be experienced exactly the same way when they grow up in an alcoholic home. Certainly, things will be different if you have a mean, abusive, alcoholic parent versus a passive, distant, disconnected alcoholic parent. Those experiences would be different when you grow up. Second key or secret, stop blaming. ACA 12-step recovery, which you can find online. The 10th step is we committed to taking a personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. And this includes blaming. Blaming is unhealthy thinking and avoids the responsibility as a healthy, mature adult. ACOAs are certainly not the only folks who blame. Lots of folks blame. Blame is an emotional state that keeps us out of awareness of ourselves. It protects us from ourselves. Then it also causes other problems too. It has a double-edged sword. And when we blame, it is a very unhealthy thinking that avoids the responsibility of being a healthy, mature adult. So if we stay stuck in blaming, then we're not maturing. And maturing is, as I've said, the way through the family of origin is to mature and to reduce our blaming and become more grown up, inside and out. When I hear blaming, I know recovery is not very solidly taken root. Same for alcoholics, same for ACOAs, same for other addicted folks. Recovery begins when we give up blaming. ACA recovery is not about getting back at our dysfunctional families. It's not about locating the blame correctly. It's not about finding a target for my anger, hurt, insecurity, neediness, and then projecting blame on them. That's not a healthy or helpful way to live. Blame, remember, blame always keeps us stuck. Blame equals no growth, no movement in self-change. Our family of origin, nor the alcoholic parent, is to blame. They are a part of our story, a part of our past pain, may even be a part of our present pain. Of course we were affected by them, but blaming only keeps the pain alive in you longer. And I try to instill this in clients that I work with and coach with, that blaming only hurts you. It may irritate the person who hurt you, but you're suffering the most and continue to suffer. Number 3, do the work of the adult-child work and recovery. And I mean adult-child that involves the meetings, ACA Red Book, ACA Workbook, videos, readings, and you begin to work in relationships or about relationships when you're in this, doing this particular key to recovery. And The Struggle for Intimacy by Janet Woititz is a good one for relationship. I think it's a very basic relationship book for ACAs. Join an ACA community. Sponsors can be very helpful here. Work on stabilizing your life through the 12-step work. Get addiction treatment if you're in an addicted situation or alcoholic yourself. Educate yourself about codependency and counterdependency. Those are very important. And Mark Smith has some good articles and information on our website, www.familytreecounseling.com, about codependency and counterdependency. And again, I like Struggle for Intimacy by Janet Woititz. It's a very good beginning book to do that. And there's so many good books for this work that there's just too many to mention. And then the 4th key is very important. Do your inner child work. Do your adult child work, and then this is the inner child work. And this is when we're beyond stabilization. This is the first keys we're kind of getting us stabilized, out of denial, kind of starting to work on knowing who we are. And now we're going to work on the pain, the wound. If you really want to recover as an ACOA, inner child work is essential. Our inner child is the part of us that was wounded, confused, neglected, abandoned, shamed, abused, etc. when we were growing up. The scary, needy, vulnerable little child still within us that acts out, gets too fearful, too anxious. Doing inner child work entails becoming aware of our inner child and our feelings. Unfreezing our feelings, trusting our feelings, learning to care for and protect our inner child, and healing and overcoming the wounds of our inner child. And there's some great books for doing this as well. There's some excellent reading by John Bradshaw, and Whitfield is another good author. And again, you can find them online. ACOAs who just attend meetings but resist their inner child work tend to recycle a lot and just go round and round and remain overreactive if they don't do that inner child work. I believe it makes it difficult to do inner child work or self-differentiation work or family systems work, which are even works that are beyond inner child work. A family systems coach or therapist can help you to learn to love, protect, and heal your inner child. If they don't know about this, then I would encourage you to keep searching. 5th, do the inner adult work of self-differentiation. There was adult child work, inner child work, inner adult work of self-differentiation. This last secret to ACOA recovery is the one most unachieved I've found over my many years of working with thousands of clients who are ACOA addicts, etc. Often many stop at secret 4 and never explore secret 5. It's not because they want to, it's because doing that work, the inner adult work of self-differentiation, is a road less traveled. It's not easy. It's not done in 3 easy steps, but I think it brings about the cap and the most reward of having an inner sense of self. This is the process in which we really differentiate ourselves from our dysfunctional family. And I don't mean cut off from the functional family, I mean differentiate. We don't reject them, we differentiate from them. Accept while being ourselves. Understand our patterns with them while maintaining our sense of self and being ourselves. This secret really does make the ACOA dreams come true. They have always wanted to feel solid inside, non-reactive, having a tougher skin, an observer, not an absorber of everything that's going on in the family, and to have a strong sense of self. And this key and this work is so essential for that. Practicing self-differentiation is a family systems concept that goes beyond the individualistic approaches of the earlier work that we have done. An individualistic approach is one that sees me as the center of my emotional life. Family systems, my emotional life is affected by larger systems throughout our lives. Our family of origin, adult relationships, and us. All of that is inside of me. And learning about that and learning how to be me while knowing those aspects really make a huge difference. And people walk away going, I never felt I could feel this way. I never thought my recovery could go this far. This really empowers the ACOA to grow on the self-differentiation scale. And you can check out one of my videos about the self-differentiation scale. If you want more information, email me and I'd be happy to get that to you about that scale. While acknowledging our connections to our past and how they work in us, we become ourselves. And that's a tremendous power. Let me share some good books for achieving this particular key. Like Your Mindful Compass by Andrea Schara, S-C-H-A-R-A. And then Growing Yourself Up by Jenny Brown is another, and both of them are relatively new books. It is difficult to find lay writings on family systems. You can find a lot for therapists, but again, many therapists are not interested because they don't want to do their own self-differentiation work often. It's scary, it's hard, but even a small amount of self-differentiation can provide an enormous amount of relief, stability, and maturity. If you want to learn more about advancing your recovery as an ACOA, I hope you'll contact me. I have folks contacting me often and saying, thank you for the videos because you've really helped me see something I'd never seen before. And I so appreciate that. Folks contact me because the videos have been a help to help them get out of denial as well. I want you to contact me or to learn more about me at www.familytreecounseling.com. You can also see my contact information on the screen. I have clients all over the U.S. and in some foreign countries, the English-speaking foreign countries. I don't know a language well enough to use it for coaching or for relationship work. Contact me for Skype or FaceTime professional help. You can join me in my office as well if you live around the Indianapolis area. And please share my videos with your social media. They're free and we try to provide good information for those who are hurting. I want to thank you for watching today and have a great day.